How's it going? We're gonna do a little poor man's country dinner here tonight. My name's Dan, and I'm gonna show you how we're going to take the minimal thing that you have in the refrigerator around the house, make something very appetizing out of it. Right here we have 4 hot dogs, assholes and elbows, not beef. What I'm doing is I'm cutting these lengthwise here. And we are then going to take and cut these down. And I've got my fire warming up here on high, and as soon as that grease gets hot, the oil in there, I'm going to go ahead and run it down to about 3/4. I'm chopping these hot dogs up first, but what I want to do is I want to get these potatoes cooking first, because they're actually going to take the longest to soften. Okay, so our hot dogs are done. I'm going to take and cut this potato in half again, and half again. I'm going to slide those first 2 halves off. I'm going to go half again, and then half on the opposite side. And we keep this all together. Now if you were going to make country fries, or what they call steak fries, you would stop right here. You just go ahead and put them in like that. Okay, you can see the smoke's coming up, so I'm going to turn the oil down a little bit. I'm going to continue to quarter these. Then I'm going to take and I'm going to add these into my oil here. Get these bad boys going. Now, for those of you familiar with cooking in oil, you know that as long as you have something in the pot or in the skillet actually cooking, you can run your heat up all the way. But you don't want to have your heat up on high and nothing in the pan, because what happens is that oil is going to eventually get you hot and start smoking pretty heavy, and it could eventually even catch fire. So once I get these potatoes added, I'm going to go ahead and run my heat up. Okay, I'm not going to put those dogs yet, because those dogs are going to brown pretty quick on their own. I'll run it up to high. And then we got some spices that are going to go in here. A little bit of salt. I'd say probably, I don't know, a teaspoon or so. I'm going to go with a little pepper. A little oregano. And then a little bit of cumin. And some Grizzly Joe's. This is the chipotle. He makes several flavors. Highly recommend it. So really good stuff. These are blended spices that he puts out. So if you want to add your own individual spices, you might want to back off on this a little bit, because it probably already has it in it. And what we're going to do now, we're going to go ahead and give this stuff a stir. Flip. So I'm going to turn this heat down to about 8 or 7. So you can see if they're already browning. I don't want them to cook on the outside so the inside's good done. So generally what I do while I'm cooking is I kind of clean while I go. So I already know that's all the spice I'm going to use. Everything's already cut and ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and put my spices back away. That frees up my counter space. I've got a can of corn I'm going to put in there at the end. So I don't need the water for my corn. This is a pull top, so once I pop that top, before I pull the whole lid up, I'm going to go ahead and drain it. You might want to leave a little bit of water in there since we're cooking with potatoes, so you're not bone dry. It depends on how soft you like your potatoes. You can see there's an awful lot of water coming out of this. It looks like we're pretty well drained. Give it a good shake. Yep, maybe a little heavy on the pepper there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get this turning again. Now I want to leave these cook probably about another 10-15 minutes. And then I'm going to go ahead and throw my hot dogs in there and my corn in there. So we'll pick it back up then. Okay, it's been a few minutes. My potatoes are softening up really nice, so I'm pretty confident I can go ahead and add the rest of my ingredients. And what I decided to do is go ahead and add a little onion to this. So I took an onion, I'm going to cut it in half. I'm not going to use the whole onion. I'm going to go ahead and break this bad boy down. Again, just like the potato, half again, keeping with the angle of the roll, half again, and just keep slicing like that. And then we're going to take those parts, holding them, and then we're going to cut against the grain, and this will basically give us our chop without having to physically go down and chop them. And then they'll fall apart pretty easy once we get them going here. Okay, I'll give this a good move around. That's going to help our meal retain some of its moisture. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add my hot dogs. Just a good stir around. Then we'll run the heat down a little bit, it's a little hot. I'm just going to kind of continue to keep this stuff moving. And make sure everything separates, or the cut portions separate. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'll go ahead and kick this corn down in here. And I'm going to give everything a good stir. Keep everything moving. So basically, with this one, what we're doing is we're frying all of our contents on about 50% of our heat. And the hot dogs are already cooked; you can eat them raw. So all we're really doing is we're just heating them up, giving them some flavor. Letting all the juices from all the ingredients in the slices kind of mix along here. And this should be done probably here in about 5 to 8 more minutes. And we'll check on it then. Okay, now one of the other tricks to cooking with iron is that you can turn off the heat, and this iron's going to stay hot to go ahead and finish it off. And we're just going to continue to keep this moving. You can see my corn starting to brown a little bit. So it tells me we're done. We're pretty dry here. You don't want it to be wet and soggy. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and serve it. And this is normally 2 portions. I made this out of 1 potato, 1 can of corn, 4 hot dogs, 1 half onion, and some spices and seasoning in a number 7 iron. Probably could have been bigger. And I'm going to go ahead and serve this up. If you're a conservative eater, this is probably 3 portions. I'm going to start with that right there. Leave it off my heat. And I'll lay that out evenly. And that'll stay warm for probably another 30-45 minutes. And we want to check and make sure our potatoes are done. Okay, so fork test on potato passes. We pretty be done. Got good flavor here. Corn's got good texture. Hot dog. I say this is good to go. I'm just going to call this potatoes and hot dogs, corn. I don't know what would be a good name for this. If you come up with one, email me, let me know. Information's on the bottom. Please subscribe. Leave your comments. Have a good day.